Check one, check one, check one. Anke ma'at, everyone. There we go. I couldn't see myself there. I'm going to give this a couple of moments. We've got another member trying to join, so we will get started in a couple moments. We'll give this a couple of moments. I will ask also if there is, so Himnetter Waziri will not be here today. We were supposed to have Himnetter Ames, but I have not had a response from him. So I am going to put the link here in the chat. If there's any of our male members out there who would like to come in and give us some divine balance with that masculine energy, that would be wonderful. I'm going to put that there across the screen. See if I can do that. And we'll give it a couple of moments here. So this is the link. Let's see, I see a comment there. Anke Ma'at, St. Jason. So right now it's just me. St. Jason, if you're free and you can come on with me, that would be wonderful. If not, I will freestyle this to the best of my ability. But I do, have a setup. But I'd love to have some masculine energy on here. So St. Jason, if you do see this link and you're free, all right, take your time. Take your time. Do off of that. So St. Jason is going to come and join me here. That will be wonderful. We'll give it some time for some folks to come on in here. And then we'll get started in just a few moments. Let's see. I know Sinet Kazi is trying to get in. Let's see if all right, I see him that are a mess. Maybe he is coming. Let's see here. All right, so it looks like we're going to be fine. So Jason, take your time. I just got a message from him that are Ames that he will be coming in. I'm going to resend him the link just in case. There we go. There we go. All right. I feel better. At least that I know we'll have some divine balance here. All right. Hope you all are well. Give everyone some time to get on. I'll tell you all, many of you know it's been a trying week. It definitely has been one of those weeks. Not to complain, very thankful, very, very humble, all things in divine order, which is going to be the topic of our later portion of the balancing of the scales. I don't think we did that last week because we were so immersed in the prayer session for Himneta Ames, which it was such a beautiful session. I want to thank you all again for showing up and the support that you all gave him. Again, he should be coming in shortly. So once we do that, we will start with the opening of the way. We can do a couple of things out of order. Actually, no, we'll wait and start everything. I'll wait till everyone gets in, give him some time. There we are. There he is. All right, let's get our hymnetter here on the stage. There we are. Do I. Here he
Dwa
is.
R
All right, Uncle Ma'at Himnetter.
Hrw.
Haven't started anything just yet. We'll get our official start before we open the way. Actually, that will be the first thing, and then we'll get into it. If
Okay.
um,
I know that when y'all do the opening away, you kind of follow what how our shrine does it. I'm such an old practitioner that I always believe that Baba gave us that, but we were supposed to elaborate and go further. So, in the directions, since we are starting in the north, I do start off in the north, but instead of putting Saket in the east, when you turn right, I put her in a proper place in the west. So I do go right, but the next one I go is neat. So I'm gonna follow you this morning.
no, no, no. That's that. I'm glad you're saying this because I would like to you be the lead and let me follow you. That would be great. That would be wonderful, so we can see it. I'd rather have the respected elders show us. You know what I mean? Uh,
Mm.
and I know
It's
we
just
do what you
certain, it's just switching. People make it seem that it's very hard, and I'm like, if you know what's in the, you know the deities of the north, which are
said.
proper, and you know like a nebbit headed happy, and you know that Ast and I mean Asinum set is in the south. All you're switching is the, taking the other two and just revert them over. Baba, well, I came in, he made us research it. He kind of, I guess he changed his teachings along the way. But when you look at it, I think one of the things we're gonna talk some more about what's going on with me. I have a little, I met with the surgeons, but we'll go on that, and they seem like they're going to be able to do this. But when we doing the adorations, if you look at what organs they protect,
Mhm.
that's why they did it. It was just not just acknowledging the directions. It also come, and I suppose to have that all down. I'm sorry, this morning I would, but I think why I was doing my openings of the way every morning before I left. So when they went to check my body, do I? It was no other cancer, no place else, because I'm doing the prayer in the morning to those organs.
Got it.
You understand, not only to the directions and having a to the natural forces, but I'm doing it to the morning. And so I think that's why they said, oh, it's there, but it's not going towards your bone structure, and it's not, and if it's going there, it's not going into your brain. I am very fortunate they said that, so I given this, praise is that I think we should, um as practitioners, do it the proper way.
All right. All
you
right.
know
Well, we've got Sinette Kazi here, which is
Mhm.
also Sinette Oye. I'm hoping she can come on in. And what I would like to do is when the opening of the way, I would like to have you two be the male, the masculine and feminine principle, and I will mute, but I'm gonna do it exactly with you all. But I would like to hear your two voices. Kazi, if you are ready and don't mind, I would love to hear you two do the opening of the way, and I will follow along.
Okay, let me just pull my table back a little bit here in the living room so I can be a little presence.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna mute.
And so others are on, right?
Yes. Yes.
Do I
I'm
um
here. Can you hear
here?
me?
Yes, I can. When you hear me, as I was explaining, I do it. Yes, I start off in the north, but instead of when I turn right, I do the proper, which is neat. I do the proper deities for that. So if you know what follows, I do neat, then
Mm,
drop the drama chef, and then when I circle around to the west, I do Saket and Kepsanu.
and kept snooze. Okay. All right. Sounds good. I'm gonna mute and stand, and then you two take it away.
She starts off first in the follow. Okay, everyone, we'll get in the pose of adoration to the north, hands slightly forward. Left hand slightly forward, right hand slightly back. I'd like everyone to inhale some breaths, get their lungs ready, and we will begin with the sound of life, which is Ankh. Om. Begin.
Anishirak in that het. Nuke in that het. Anishirak happy.
I got this one. Aneturak happy. Nuke happy to Wattenter. Everyone turn to your right. You can
Anishirak circuit.
Aneturak circuit.
Nuke circuit.
Nuke circuit. Aneturak kepsanuk. Nuke kepsanuk.
Nuke capsanu.
To Wattenter.
Follow and turn. To the right.
Yes.
Anishirak
Aneturak as.
Nuke as.
Nuke as. Aneturak set.
Anishirak set.
Nuke set.
Nuke set.
To Wattenter.
Follow and turn. Anishirak neat.
Aneturak neat.
Nuke neat.
Nuke neat. Aneturak dwamutef.
Anishirak duanutef.
Nuke dwamutef.
Nuke duamutef.
To Wattenter.
Follow and turn. Anishirak newt.
Aneturak newt.
Nuke newt.
Nuke newt. Aneturak geb.
Anishirak geb.
Nuke geb.
Nuke geb.
To Wattenter. I take the lead here. Aneturak shoe.
Anishirak shoe.
Shoe. Shoe. Shoe. Shoe. Nuke shoe.
Shoe. Anishirak geb.
Tef newt.
I'm sorry. Anishirak tef newt. Tef newt. Tef newt. Tef newt. Tef newt. Nuke tef newt.
Nuke tef. Aneturak oot neteru. Nuke pa oot neteru.
Anishirak ambu neteru. Nuke ambu neteru.
To Watten.
Ter.
Sounds of life. Om. To Wattenter. Let's
Follow.
again.
Thank you. I've never done that with a second person before.
Yeah. And you still, like I said, is everyone listening in? Is it open?
It's open. We're live.
Oh, we live. Okay. I know that it seems a little confusing. If you just join it, I'm netter a mess. As I was sharing earlier, when we do the opening of the way, it's not just blessing the day or blessing giving divine to the divine principles that we're speaking. If you go and study those, and I'm sorry, I was not better prepared today. Each of those, not only directions, it also the jars, the organs went into those jars. So when you're doing these adorations, you are also blessing your organs. So if you do it, and they did it in a precise way, and so I believe that if we are going to be true practitioners, Dwa R Hrw, our divine elder and ancestor now, gave us this thing, but like all teachers, he wants the students to advance, go further. You should be going further. And so you should know what you're doing. So once I understood that each principle had a divine order, that's the way I went. Like during my solar return month, I do it the way Baba taught it, and I face northeast or north, I mean east, towards Kemet or the motherland. So if I starting in the east, I will not start off with Nebuchadnezzar.
Right.
Happy.
You're going to start off with the
I
correct
start off with Neat and Dwa R Hrw,
Got it.
and circle all the way around. It's only just understanding that each principle is there. And one of the things I like to share is, because you know that I shared with you the last time on that I was recognized of having cancer, and it's stage 2, and it's serious. But when they did the MRI and that's the PET scan, and they did the CAT scan, and they did the intense MRI in my head, that cancer was just in that location. They did not find any other cancer in any place else in my body, had not spread. And I've given the divine praise because I do the opening of the way. And when I was doing that, I was also blessing my organs.
Right. Right.
You understand? I'm blessing the organs every day. And so that's why I think it's very important that we start practicing doing it, knowing thy directions. You might live in the South and say, I live here in the South. I'm going to do the opening away with Ast Num Sets. That's perfectly good. Just follow the order. The reason why we start in the North here, because the Shrine of Ra says we live in the North, and that's what Intepi Jabari wanted to start. But and so then they said, well, we should go left, so it'll be in order. No, it's not in order. If you go left, we want to go. Reason why we turn right first is what we face it east. What is east? The motherland. You might go slightly northeast and say it, but you want to recognize the divine order. And so it's very important that you start advancing with this knowledge and understanding your organs. I shared with you last week out of the Dwa R Hrw, book of Coming Forth by Day and Night, the chapter on blessing, that each part of your body was divine. I hope some of you went back and had a chance to read that and study that. And so I turn it over to you.
All right, just for the moment, and dua for that education. I think that it's important that we actually have a true understanding of the practices and the rituals that we're doing. So this is not repetition, that you're just following something that you've been told without having an understanding and setting the true intentions for that. So dua for that education. It's extremely important. And we'll start with our normal. We did the opening of the way, so we want to say Dwa Baba Heru Ankra Semad Sefata Ma'ak Heru, opener of the way, bearer of Ma'at, custodian of the Ankh. We continue the ritual which you have brought to us in its current form, and we will continue to perform this in your legacy and as we continue our walks as practitioners. So Dua Twa Neter for him as a new ancestor. We will continue to make you proud. We always want to give our flowers. Also,
Yes.
our flowers to the ancestors. We have many. We speak their names daily. Those near to us, those we may not have known the names, we are still giving the flowers to our ancestors. All of the Netaru. We do give our honor to Hemneter and Tepi, Dejed Ma'at Aten Ra Jabari, who is the chief priest of the Shrine of Ma'at. Of course, with our beloved Hemneter Ames here. We give our love to Hemneter Waziri, who's traveling today. So we do wish him safe travels to and from his goings, for him to be able to share time. And then all of you for always coming here with us on Sundays to give this session of adoration, is what we call it, Dwa R Hrw, Day of Adoration. So we'll do our cleansing breaths and we'll get into today's business and see where we go from there. Promise not to keep too much of your time. So our cleansing breaths, our 4 cleansing breaths. First one, to clear our mind. We take a deep breath. And the second, to cleanse our spirits. Deep breath again. And the third, to lighten our hearts. Fourth and final, we'll breathe in Ma'at and exhale Ifset. We awake to live in Ma'at. We align our thoughts, words, and actions with Ma'at. And in the wake of our newly ancestor, I do pour water here, libation for Baba. I have natron to cleanse the water and purify it. I light an ancestral candle for Baba. And I place it upon his signed book that he provided, so that he is with us and that everything that we do is within Ma'at and in divine spirit of right and truth. Well, that being said, we can get started. All right. So today, without Himneta Wasiri, we do have anything that you would like to present. I do our, I guess, so to speak, we usually don't have a topic, but at the end, we do what we call balancing the scales. And that topic is based on order. And it's so divine. This is one thing that I will say. Every week, it's unplanned of what we're going to talk about. We don't meet before. He comes with what he may be reading from, but it's always in divine order, just like today. You just spoke about the opening of the way, the order of directions, the body parts. So order is fitting. I think about what we're going to do to balance the scales. I have no idea what the Himneta is going to talk about. And you brought that to the attention of order and different things. So I think it always seems to fall into divine order. Order is not just direction, like you said. It's not just when we're talking about the order of Ma'at, we are speaking of, and I'll read a couple of things that I have come up with. Whatever you add to that, the floor will be yours for that, because we like the wisdom from the Himneta. So I add the word she because a lot of the texts are written as he, especially the ancient ones. But it says he or she who lives in Ma'at shall not die. That comes from the coffin text, spell 335. To live in Ma'at is to live in harmony with the eternal cycles of life, death, and the renewal. Now, we've mentioned that before. I've said that before. But we think about now, how can we bring order to sacred rhythm or sacred rhythm into our lives? Many of us are going through something. As we know, our Himneta here, he was just diagnosed with cancer. We have illness, we have pain, we have financial struggles, mourning for the loss. We have to give adoration to Ma'at fully, not in parts. And it's just like you said that you honored the body parts as you are doing, your opening of the way. And in your condition now, you see it's not spread to the rest of the body. Here, even out of the Husia, it says, Ma'at is great. Its value is lasting, and it has remained unchanged and unequaled since the time of its creation. It's a path even for the ignorant, and those who violate its laws are punished. So when I say this, we don't just come on a Sunday or on a spiritual day or even in the morning to just do the opening of the way to try to maintain spiritual order. We have to maintain spiritual order throughout everything, meaning you have to be feeding your mind the right thoughts, the things that are in balance with Ma'at. Got to be feeding your body the things that are in balance with Ma'at. You have to be making moves like exercises or whatever it requires you to do to be in balance and aligned with the things that Ma'at within divine order. If any one of those things are out of order, you are falling to Ifset. So you can come and do your ritual every day, but if you're not putting the right things in your body, if you're not putting the right thoughts and ideas in your body that are aligned with that, everything's out of balance. So I think it's important that we recognize that divine order isn't in one facet. It's in all things that we do. Everything we think, everything we say, everything we act upon must be in order to be a true practitioner of any spirituality, especially us Africans who are claiming to be practitioners of Ma'at. You can't be spiritually enlightened, but then over here, your physical is, you're not doing what our hymnetter told us last week, the things that he's making change. We don't ever, it's never too late to restore a Saruj. So if you're putting a bunch of junk in your body and you realizing your body's going to sit your behind down, it did to my husband last week. Who knows how long he had a blood pressure of 238 over 120. How was he living? We don't know. Have no idea. How long it's been like that? Have no idea. This is a Black man that never goes to the doctor, has never once had a physical. We've been together over 30 years. Never had an IV. So we have no knowledge or history of what could be wrong because he wouldn't go out of fear of this or fear of that. But you have all these conditions on both sides of your family. And this isn't judgment, but this is talking about order. If you don't know about yourself, who does? So if you're not researching, reading the right things that's healthy, not just in a society, but for the Black man, reading what's healthy to put in the Black man's body, reading what's healthy or finding out what's healthy to read for the Black man. And I'm talking about on the Black man's aspect, all of us, Black woman, Black man. Are we getting our breast checked? Are we, you know what I mean? Are we literally doing the things that we are supposed to do to be in right order?
Mm-hmm.
Are we just showing up on Sundays to say I'm spiritually in order? Your spirit isn't in order if the rest of you isn't.
Dwa, that is so true. And so, a little reflection. And I'm hearing you say this. There's no judgment, but if you ever just go to a VA hospital. And if you want to see who are the most fiercest persons in the VA hospital, it's what I call those veteran wives. And I look back on I'm like, I need to get me a veteran wife, because in there you'll see men around my age or older who have served. Some of them have served in the Korean War. There are still a lot of them alive in the Vietnam War, not just the Gulf War, but these are, and they only did one tour, that, those 2 years, or they maybe did 4 years, whatever the contract. But if you want to see some fierce wives, maids, these are the ones. And they take notes, and the doctor's like, no, you said, no, I'm going with him. So said, your job, 30 years, is hard to believe that you don't have any record. You got to put on that warrior thing. It is no more time. He can't give you no excuse. Yes, we do fight. Oh my God, we kick it. And when we get sick,
Yep.
I'm dramatic. I'm sorry, y'all. That's me. We get up, we got the fall, I'm sick. And and so we have to be warriors with our mates. We have to be honest with the people that we're with, and that's on both. And take your husband. He might say, or your mate, you're going to get that breast exam.
Mm-hmm.
Let him sit there. It's the only way. We're more left-minded,
Yes,
than right, because of the society we live in. It's masculine. So you have to hit the man on his logical side. You got to be here. This is why. And don't make it emotional, because that's but he understands the logic of, okay, must be done. Then he can go into actions. And when he sees something, not right with
take
you.
responsibility for that. You are absolutely right. I definitely, yes, it takes two, but as his wife, as a practitioner, it really, over the last week, I really had to sit my behind down and look at some of my own actions, because no matter what, we shouldn't have been there in that situation. Even if we had gotten into that situation, I needed to be less soft over the years. We have had arguments when he might have had a flu or something before, but I needed to be, and will be, and am more firm and more grounded with the decisions that we both make together. You know what I mean? And you are 100% no judgment. Like you said, it's not judgment. Reality is what it is.
Yes.
Also must take into account that I have a responsibility as the healer in the house to not allow that. We shouldn't have been in a situation, at least unknowingly. You know
Right.
what I mean? So
Right. Now the second point we're gonna get on, and you know, I mess as a priest. I try to bring truth my eye. I put out a question once on my Instagram. I said, "What does it mean that now that I'm a priest?" The carry the term that term hymneta or boo. And one thing is, Jabari says, "My divineness is no greater than yours, even though I have this title." So, being that it is, I'm still a working case. The only thing is, I study. I took 3 years out of my life to study a little bit into the divine aspect of our spirituality and other practice, other things, of other what we call religious concepts or theories, um, and dealt with other things that goes on in life. But I'm still that. I still that certain things. So the one thing that I'm still dealing with, and I'm going to be honest, is getting the diet in balance. Now,
but
when I
honest
first,
with yourself. You
yeah,
see, things are different. You're not pretending where order needs to be restored or balance needs to be restored. That's one thing that we tend to do. We tend to we make up and dress up really really nice. Let's just say that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Don't beat yourself up about it. You recognize it, and each day, just like doing the opening the way, just like it is for me, we all you could I don't even like to say fall short because we don't fall short.
no,
Our
no,
experiences are what they're supposed to be for our lessons, but we are all missing the bar of our own heights. Our
yeah, that's a good book.
to reach, sometimes all it takes is for us to reach up, and we won't reach because we, for whatever reason. But you recognize it. I recognize it in myself and the things that I know that I can do that are within my power to do better. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
So you
as
start off
Awareness.
with those, yeah, you have to start off with these little things, like
yeah,
going back to fasting. And I had done that, so I have to get back on point on that. Um, how you train, I tell people if you want to go the life, because at one time I was a vegetarian when I first went to the shrine. I learned, and we went through that I think it was 2 weeks or 3 weeks of cleansing and all that. That was my first beginning. And then I took things after that. Like I said, I had already come off meat. I mean red meat. So the next thing I worked on, which was most of us truly love, is the chicken. So I took it and I said this year is staying away from that. And then the last year was I cut down on most of the seafood, and so uh, but then I was buying a lot of soy products, so-called, that you see in the supermarket. And then I was reading it was high in sodium. It was hard to, balance that out. And I was doing pretty good, but at one point did get laid off, and it's a very expensive thing to maintain. And then you get stressed out and you go back. So what I'm saying is I'm still, even though I have this, I have to work on these things internally. I don't think I fail. Like I said this before, you do not fail at anything you want to do in life. You
absolutely.
have not failed. And I heard this by what we would call a Caucasian man, but he was a motivated speaker. He's well known. You might have heard of him as Anthony Robbins. And I was sitting in there listening to this man come out, and he was doing his thing. And then he looked at the audience and said, you never failed at anything in life. And everybody was like, what? And the nervous start. We looking, I think I have. He said, let me say this again. You have never failed at anything you have tried to do in life. And so he gave this analysis of Colonel Sanders when he retired. The person that started Kentucky Fried Chicken,
Mhm.
he got his Social Security or retirement check and said he couldn't live off of it. It was not enough.
Yeah.
But he had a good family recipe he had. And so he went out to market it, and he got turned down so many times. So he is like most of us would have said, "No, okay,
I
I'll
give
have to give up." But he kept being persistent until he found someone that gave him that one yes. In the meantime, while he was getting all those no's, he did not look at it as failure. So what it is you do get a response to anything you do.
Mhm.
It might not be the response you was looking for, but you get a response to anything you do. He says most successful, the difference between successful people and not is successful people will take that no and tweak it, put something else to it, and go back out again. And when they get it, they come back and they tweak what they got and
Mhm.
find out
That's
this.
right. That's right.
Like if you go on an interview and you don't get that job, and you want to know, wow, some of us just go away.
Mhm.
Hold on 1 second.
That's right.
In prayer service, Mom, I'll call you back. Of course, yes, Mom. In prayer service, yes. All right.
I love that. She call you every Sunday.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so that goes like if you go out on a job interview, and some of us have done that, and you get that no. Don't just walk away and say, okay, I failed. Go back and touch base with the person that you interviewed with.
And find out.
You
Actually,
find out what
what could I have done? What would have made me more qualified? What would have, you know what I mean?
to
And
make you open. Yeah.
that's right. And
And
that's why
you
I
get
say
that
it's not
done.
just one area, it's every area that we
Mhm.
have to be students of our thank you, good. She's back. We have to be students, and I call myself, I always say, like in the book that I wrote, one of my main quotes was, "Behold, the experience of life is upon us." I'm a lifer, a everlasting student, because we're students of ourselves, we're students of our environment, we're students of our ancestors, we're students of it of what's around us, not just one facet. And each, like you said, no, that man was right. Nobody ever fails technically.
Yeah.
All we do is learn and evolve, and we keep on becoming. And if that one job tells you no, I mean, I used to think of it in a sense, used to get me so mad where, well, just not mad, I would say, but for instance, and again, I'm not one of those that sits here, Christians do this, Christians, but it's one of those times that I will say, where each and every one of us, Black folks know, you can see a man or a woman who will scrape change together, get on the bus every day, let's say 20 days for interview, 20 days to try to find a job, scraping change together, don't even have the money to get there, but they're going to catch that bus, they're going to catch the train, they're going to get on the connector, and they've gone to these interviews for 20 days. Nobody interviewed, nobody gives them a job. The 21st day, they do the same thing and they get a yes. What is the first thing that they say when the job, they get the yes? What do they say?
Thank God.
Thank you, Jesus, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
denoting, clearly miscounting all of the efforts that they have done. They did that. They got up. They did this. They did that. But outside of themselves, they want to give the honor.
Because they have been taught to look at the divineness of the creator outside themselves, within themselves. So another thing I'm going to give y'all a hint, and I hope you take this out of the English vocabulary if you ever you changing a career path or anything. We don't go after Job. Okay.
Oh,
If you read this, I don't know how it says. It's like you have words that sound the same, but they spelled differently.
mhm.
Like a hair, the hair that the animal, H-A, and
It's
then you have hair in your hair.
mhm,
You understand? There and there.
mhm.
There, going that way or there, a lot of people.
People, right? Hmm.
How come? A question is that in this divine scripture of Job, it says Job,
Job,
Job.
but they call him Job. Yes.
but you go out and try. And you know, if you read, I tell people, if you read about and go into Job, there was a lot of trials and tribulations and failures and all that. So why would you want to speak that of trying to do better? We do not go for Job's.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Absolutely.
knew that that word, if they wanted to change it, they would have changed it and spelt it a sound a little bit, change the spelling or something. But you go out of here, you don't go to a job. Folks, stop saying that. You are going to your career. If you like what you're doing, it is a career. You have chosen a path or something to better yourself. Stop going to Job or and if you come back, you say, good job, I have frustration. I said, go grab your Bible, start reading Job, and now you'll understand why you're having problems at your place because you are speaking it into
That's
existence
right. That's right.
from what you have read or heard. So stop it.
That's
From
right.
now on, you're only going for a career, something I like to do, call it a profession that you're going to, but you're not going to a
Job.
Job, trying to get a Job, and you don't tell your children about Jobs because you want them to be successful.
That's right. That's right. You're not
Yeah,
raising worker bees. You know what I mean?
yeah. So
The
folks,
mindset of that, it keeps that, and it keeps your mind in a limited space too. You know,
mhm,
when there's no limit, but your head is on the ceiling
mhm.
because you're always chasing to, you know, Job, not looking at it in terms as I'm going a space for providing or whatever the case may be.
Success, I'm gonna, especially if you went to school and you studied for it and and this is what it fulfills you. No,
Hmm.
I'm not going to some place where there's agony and things. And if you really read Job in their scriptures, if you look at what they use the term as the devil sometimes or Satan,
Hmm.
what is the own, what are the two abilities? No, he has one ability, and he had a presence. First presence, if you read scriptures, and you have to, that's why I say we must understand that too. You just can't throw it away. You got to understand it.
Yeah.
He was a very beautiful angel, one of the beautiful of all the angels, not the horns, not the gold, not the, he was the beautiful of angel, but his ability to speak. And the reason why I said speech is because his greatest power was, his only power is to lie. He
To
was
lie.
a great liar.
That's right.
So if you go into Job and you see all the trials and tribulations going on, it wasn't Satan or the devil as they teach it, because the only one who had the power to do that was God.
That's right.
God was in their scriptures is their netter will test them to the fullest and all that and bring them down. One guy, I had a brother we had a little disagreement at work. He was a Muslim. He said, only person I fear is God. Like he was like, I didn't threaten you, but I don't fear God.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say then that term. Yeah, I know.
you don't fear the net to
Why would
deny
you
in my
fear the
spirituality. Yeah, we do not fear the divine
divine?
in our spiritual. It does not have the things that other spiritual, what I call religious books say. It does not smell. It does not. It's not word that there's another nectar over it. It
Hmm.
doesn't. It doesn't have those human qualities in it. It
It
is. That's why it
requires.
says, "I am what I am," or
Yes.
all that it is. It is has nothing to do with anything on the physical. Do you know when you do know if you going and you're going to you say, "I'm going to meet my creator," and if you think you're going to meet a male or a female, you surely are gonna get a rude awakening because it does not have that form. It is, we are that physical aspect on this planet and this plane of existence. It has many planes of existence. It's been it. You look out in the heavens. It's things going on in the heavens. It is always doing. It's
Mhm.
always doing. So that's So that's why we say we always becoming, because whatever we can conceive in our mind, we seem to be able to do. That is the gift that was bestowed on us as the manifestation of itself here.
Mhm.
I
As the
once heard
arrogance of
Phil Valentine. I don't know if you ever listened to Phil Valentine. He's one of our elders, but he deals more in the metaphysics, and he can take you out there. He said God is ignorant. It does not if it's all this, it's ignorant. Its experience to know itself is through what we do here, good
God.
or bad. It's the everything that happens out in the universe. Media is crashing, and boulders and cosmic. That's how it knows itself.
Mhm.
So internally, when we meditate, that is our way for us to know thyself.
Thyself. Thyself. To
To
know
know
that
the things
it's
that manifest inside of you, the organs. You have the sun. We have the air, the lungs. We create, we can manifest anything. And this ankh here that I was told, it was conceived in someone's mind. It was conceived it was in the what we call the subject realm of the divineness. If you read the Madhu Nature #1, that deals a lot with metaphysics. I it give you another aspect of how science and spirituality go together. So this was in the subject realm of someone's mind,
right.
and then it decided to bring it out of the subject plane into the physical plane. That's how the nature Ninder does things.
And that's why, even along with the topic, divine order, what we think becomes words, it becomes an utterance, and then it becomes an existent, just like each and every one of us, spoken utterance or thought. You know what I mean? And then we come into being. We are consistently, even by moment, not just daily, we're consistently becoming. And like you said, to know thyself, knowing thyself, to know thyself is to know in terror. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because that is exactly the goal, to experience, to leave record of our experiences, to reach those heights of ourselves that some perceive as unreachable. But if you can perceive it, it can be reached. Just like you said, there are technically no limits to that. And it's on all those forms. You know what I mean? Spiritually, mentally, physically, because they all work as one in balance with the other. One, you cannot have one out of balance and expect that the others to be a proper working vehicle, machine, or system. You know what I mean?
And if you read the manifestations of the Neter, some call it the manifestations of Ra.
Ah,
Please, I'll try to get that. I have it. It's something you should all have.
I will say on reference to that. So we do, and we'll get into the announcements. We have three Sinu, three brothers who've restarted the Sebait as we used to, and that's private. It's every other Sunday, just like it used to be. And we did discuss the manifestations of Ra last week. They went over. We were talking about this topic, and it was so. And that's why I say everything happens in divine order, because we don't plan these conversations, and the brothers weren't giving themselves enough credit because they came. It wasn't something about we're scholars and we're know all. We were there to learn together. They hosted the meeting, and we were there to go through the text and learn together. No one was an all knower. No one was less ignorant or more knowledgeable. We together went through the text, deciphered the text, and it's a beautiful thing what they're doing. I'll make sure to announce that a little later. But
Yeah, because if you understand the Nebuchadnezzar in that instance, with all its the abilities of omnipresence, omniscient, all that, it's still had to have a foundation. Its foundation was Ma. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
man. Of the foundation of what we call Ma, later become Ma. So
Mm-hmm.
it had to stand on Ma to
Mm-hmm.
manifest and bring forth. It says this. I was alone. There was no other.
There was
And I,
no other. That's right.
before I began to do this, I stood on Ma.
Mhm.
So we all stand on Ma every single day of our existence when we awaken. You stand on Ma and you begin to manifest in what we call becoming Kepra. You do that energy of manifestation every day. You are manifesting something new. So I'm going to read something real quick because then you can do your announcement. Today I'm going to read something. I'm going to pick it randomly out of our oldest text, the teachings of Ptah. Hotep.
Okay.
Guys, you can get this on Amazon. Let me put that there
I
on
got
Amazon.
it.
You should have it. It's a great book to have in your library, and it's great short text. I'm gonna pick one, and if I'm gonna pick two because they're short, they're not that long. So I'm gonna pick out of this number 22. They're in order. They numbered. So the first one I'm gonna read from is from 22. And because we doing this now when we have these meetings and stuff, help your friends with things that you have, for
Mhm.
you have these things by the grace of Neter.
Mhm.
If you fail to help your friends, one will say you have a selfish car. One plans for tomorrow, but you do not know what tomorrow will bring. The right soul is the soul by which, and I should use ba, by which one is sustained. If you do praise worthy deeds, your friends will say, welcome in your time of need. Don't repeat slander, nor should you even listen to it. It is sprouted of the hot belly. Just report a thing that has been observed, not something that has been heard secondhand. If something negligible, don't even say anything. He who is standing before you will recognize your works. Slander is like a terrible dream against which one covers the face. And lastly, and this is for you, if you are a man, and I'm going to put this in there like you said before, because most of the texts were written mostly for men, or woman, worthy who sits at the council of leader, concentrate on being excellent. Your silence is much better than your boasting. Speak when you know that you have a solution.
Mhm.
It is a skilled person who should speak when in counsel. Speak is harder than all other works. Speaking is harder than all other. The one who understands this makes speech a servant.
Mm. Do I for that.
And that's the kind of divine on that part because we are helping each other here as friends. But the second one I looked, I said, "Oh, I got to read this one too," because you come on, you and Wazori have come on, and after my glorious, let's get ready to rumble on Thursday when I go into surgery. That's yes, I go into surgery on Thursday morning. Okay, I met with the surgeons, and they feel they can grab this up and that will be half the battle. But yes, um, so as counsel, I think you need that's a good one for you to read every once you for you, and you do this a lot. So I thought that, as you said, it was in divine order. I wanted to read that one, and then that other one came in. I said, "Ooh, that."
Well, right now I'm going to ask Annette Kazi, straight from the heart. That's why we do things without rehearsal. Why don't you come on and give us a prayer? We aren't done yet, but being that Himnetter Ames has surgery on Thursday, why don't I mute and you come on and give us some divine energy straight from the heart? It's
Not.
this is all divine, not not rehearsed.
Absolutely. So I mean, I For me, I deal more with energy, so less more words than anything. So if anything, I would just say like if everybody could take your hands and rub them together, we're going to generate some heat through our hands, and we're going to send this healing energy through our hands, through these phone screens, computer screens, TV screens, whatever screens we are on. So now, place your hands in that pose of adoration, and we're going to shoot this energy straight to him that are Ames. We're going to send him good, positive energy, love energy, healing energy, grace energy, protection. Okay, we're going to wrap him all up in it. You understand? We want to ask that our ancestors surround him um, while he's, on the surgery table or whatnot. Um, and we're going to also, we visualize, good outcomes coming from this surgery, you know. Everything's going to work out the way that it needs to work out for him in its best form.
You are.
Wow. I say.
No, well, I say. And if you notice that I started out as I did it forward, but she was giving me and asking everyone. So when you giving out energy, you go left forward, but when you receiving it, you pull it the other way. So if you notice that if someone is giving you prayer or they give you words, and you put up your hands of adoration, remember that it's when you're receiving, the right goes first and the left goes back.
Mhm.
So because we are so used to giving it, but this
Right.
is, this is the balance of my art. This is how you receive it properly.
Right. Now I'm going to take a look at the chat before we get into the announcement. We kind of covered some, but I want to shout out some of the chat. We have St. Garrett Van here, full member. Dua to you and your support, St. Curtis Jackson. I do want to say dua to you, St. Curtis, reaching out. Actually, all of you, including you, Sinette Oye, all reached out last week while we were in the hospital. I really appreciate so much of that. And on our prayer list today, of course, we have Himnetter Ames. We also have, I'm going to say your name right today, Sinette. You'll see. She's going to be proud of me.
Mhm.
We also have on our prayer list, Aset Sekmet Ankh Metu M Ma'ats, also known as Deloise. She was having some issues with her knee this week. She's doing great. She did some acupuncture, looked very interesting. Always wanted to try that for my neck. So she did say that that was helping. So, going back to the chat to shout out the rest of the people before the announcement, we have our beloved Yashira Sakina Ra, of course. We've got Sin Jason. I saw there in the YouTube channel. I see our Sin Cleaford. He's there. Thank you for showing up. And our Sinette Cheryl Lee. She's always here, and I'm sure there are others here too because I saw some other likes and shares. And of course, we don't do this stuff for likes and shares anyways, but I always want to shout you out because you're here supporting us. You've been with us, I guess it's been a few months. I really didn't even realize how long we had been doing this, but it's been some time now. And it's very it is very beneficial to me. I hope it is for you all. It's great to start the week this way. It lightens the heart. All that we have may have made heavy. And I know some days I've made my heart heavier than I'd like to care to admit, but it happens. This definitely helps me to release that heavy load and to be able to come and commune with you guys every week. Couple of announcements that we have. I don't think he's here. I didn't see him here, but we have Sin and Jenna Khan, whose birthday was on the 18th, uh, yesterday. We
Happy solar return. Happy solar return.
Yes, and we had one of our hymnetters, Jamar, his birthday, I believe, if I'm wrong, solar return was on the 14th, 5 days
Yes.
ago. And just wanting to, send that myrrh to them. We do have still with the celebration of life for Baba Heru. The dates are definitely going to be the 6th and the 7th of December. Time and location is still being worked out. It's likely going to be at two locations because there's going to be a Saturday event and then there's going to be a Sunday event. I'll have more details, official details, to be able to put out to you all as soon as I have it. Thanks to our Aset Sekmet Aunt Metu and Ma'at, who invited me to one of those meetings. I've been there every week since, well, the last 2 weeks, since she first invited me to the discussion of the putting together, being on the committees to help with the celebration. And I do that because, number one, I'm reclamation here in the Shrine of Ma'at. So reclamation, of course, is so that I'm able to keep you all informed the best of my abilities, with whatever information is coming out as far as dates and things like that goes. So I hope that there will be overflow of support and all that can show up from our shrine, to do so. More information as far as fundraisers and financial money raising will be coming out at some point, and hopefully everybody can participate and we can, show him the love that he's left on us. You know what I mean? Outside of that, and again, I did mention earlier about the Sebai. Please, that was I'm so glad that somebody took initiative to restart that. It is so great. It is needed. It is private. It's not open to the public, and it shouldn't be. Some things should remain private. Now, these prayer sessions, don't like them to be private. Although they're in our private page, I do put them on YouTube because I think that anyone, any Kemetic practitioners, not only that, just think about when we were all searching. We were searching for our people. So we want to make sure that people who are searching for their people can find us. And that's, that's one reason why things like this should not be private. Some people, you know how it is. Everybody feels like they're the weird one because they think a different way, not, like their families. Well, I found my family. Look at us. So we have to be available so that people can find us when they're looking for us, just like we were able to find. It was not easy for us to find. Think about it. Now the times are getting better. Things are becoming more so that people can find us when they're looking for us.
Mm-hmm.
Things like this, I just want to make sure that we.
And so the Sabe is on every other Sunday, or it's on so it'd be the next.
Next Sunday. So today is supposed to be Kemetic Ascension, and then the Sebait will be next Sunday. They do this, if I am not mistaken, I believe. So Jason, if you are still here, you can correct me if I'm wrong as far as the time. I want to say it's 12 o'clock Eastern and 11 o'clock their time. I believe that that's correct. We also have St. Curtis with the support group, and the health and wellness also. Also, yeah, I did want to mention to you, Hemnetter, I did see one of our members. Where did he go? I don't know if I can get back, but he, Nahisi and Osset Sekmet that I mentioned earlier, they do some herbal packages and stuff. They mentioned this in the chat on Facebook, where I can go back and find that. But you may want to just see what they have to offer, because they were saying in the chat for you that they do have some herbal remedies and packages that they
Okay. Just send them my email address, and then I'll be able to reach back out to them.
Okay.
And you can put my number in there too if you want to.
Definitely will. I'll send it to them. St. Curtis did just message me and say that they will have a support group meeting tomorrow, which will be tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Is that correct, St. Curtis? I'm sure, because I think he's in PA, so it will be Eastern. Yes, and I definitely want to be there because, again, the support is so necessary. If you're going through something, it's not necessarily that you have to, go spill your beans. Spill them if you need to, but the space is safe. There are times that you need that support. As Kemetic practitioners, and we're conducting, our everyday lives, sometimes you need support. You need just, whatever it might be. It's not a fix. He's not a counselor. It's not about fixing, but letting you know that there's somebody there for you. There is an ear, there's a shoulder, there's support, people who can uplift you for whatever you're going through. And that's something that's critical. I think a lot of us needed that, after becoming initiates, and kind of, we get our cliques and different things like that. But to know that there's a safe space for everyone to come and to commune and Sometimes you might just sit in silence, but being together in those moments, I think it's very important. That I'm just proud that the members and people in general that I've met on this journey are continuing it. They're not woke trenders. I've not met too many woke trenders, I should say. People that are doing it for real. And it's encouraging because we're not alone. We are an everlasting we're a forever family now. And that's even without the title of the shrine house that we belong to. We've made these connections, and you can't undo what's been done. You know what I mean? So I'm thankful for all of that. With that, I don't have any other announcements. I think those were the main things to touch on. Either of you like to close us out? I think I've talked more than enough.
Well, as always, this has been informative. I'm happy. I'm sorry it took me so long to get with your family, uh, but I'm happy that I'm able to do this and on the other side of the journey of that surgery. And once the healing, it's gonna be a little intense. I am not going to lie. They said that after I heal, I go through radiation therapy, but the progress and how they approach stuff is a lot different. It's more centered. So even though I'm not looking at 3 months or 6 months of it. It's condensed it down to 1 month, but it's 5 days a week for 6 weeks. Well, a little over a month. So 5 days a week for 6 weeks, but it's only 20 minutes, maybe a half an hour of being in that process. Now, once they get the tumor out, because it's still unconditional kind of tumor. It's like I said, it's a new one that's you pay attention to your nasal passages and what you're breathing in, because these types of cancers are now starting to show up in the nasal passage, and you want to catch it quickly because sometimes you might just think it's a swollen membrane or it's just in fact. Please, if it stays swollen or you notice trickles of blood, anything, change in coloring, go get it examined at the ENT, and so it can get tackled quickly. And so, yes, this is very important. And like I said, I'm happy to be here on the other side of the journey. After that, like I said, they'll have to determine if chemo has to be involved. But even if chemo is involved, it's will be with the radiation therapy, but only 1 day out of that a week. So that's the second thing. That's when I think I'm really gonna need the family. I'm to keep me motivated, getting up, doing this. So you reach out.
You and also, guys, any of you that would like to contact Hamnetter Ames, I have all his information. I got the address. I got it all.
Yeah.
So if there is, anything you find it on your heart, you want to send the man a love offering, anything, how it is. You can't say I'm gonna do something for you because I'm good. I'm good. If you want to do something, you could just reach out and I can get you the information. I've got his
Yeah.
phone number, I've got his address, I've got everything that you may need. We can mail things, we can, but let's show up for our Hamnetter. St. Curtis, I'm sure that you and your crew will definitely be checking in on him. I do have all that contact
Yeah,
information.
well, tell them the Simshu Haru. I'm gonna check in with them. You know that and we have to also. I don't know what group you came in and an initiation, but will strongly suggest you do take some lessons and what they are doing. They have formed an annual meeting gathering. This is what yes, you belong to this, but you came in as a group and you said, this is who we're going to call ourselves.
That's right.
And so you must keep that bond going. If you really want this to manifest outside, it's the internal works. And so y'all each have your internal works. And so whatever you name your group when you went through training initiation, that is what the main focus of what your energy is manifesting. And so please do that.
Right. That's right.
Okay, and reach out to your other ones and say hello and ask for some. Look, if this is the happy now, Mess is the happy one. There will be Uncle a Mess gathering in New York next summer. So start playing your you know, I wanted us to do this after the pandemic because
Mhm.
it was like, man, people don't understand, we went through 3 years of, intense, people lost lives and all that. But the Uncle and Mess gathering, I'm going to reach out to folks. We're going to do this. We're going to have some DJs. Look, keep the hotel home.
That's right.
Okay, you coming out, you're gonna have your good time
That's
because yes, we put on the garment of the spiritual of Kemetism, Africa. But we do have, as Black families, we do have a good time. And you
that's
got
right.
to understand that because you are a Kemite or a Nubian Kemite, that we do still have a good time. We still go to picnics. We still dance.
Mm,
It's not all museums and books. And that is something that you got to break.
that's right.
Another thing is because once people, they think that's all we do. They call us the hotel crew. You
Hotepas.
know,
Hotepas.
I'm a hotel people. you know, but
No,
you
I
need
didn't
people
know
to
that
look
was
at
you.
my
I know
major
what it
governors. When I told them I finished and became a priest, they knucklehead. Well, I won't call. They comical self said Minister Sunflower. So that's to them. I'm Minister Sunflower. So
Oh,
you get
that,
to roll.
my sisters be talking about. So we go over there with your Rockadoochie family.
Yeah,
Well, they don't mean no harm, but it be so hilarious. I just
yes, but they
want
want to see because they got to see that it's not. We not. If we want to bring them in and let them know what's going on,
that's right.
and that's what. If you look at the other spiritualities, especially in Christian and Baptist or Protestant, they be in them churches for hours, but when it's time to go out,
Oh
they do,
yeah,
and we have to be able to have these functions and
that's
do
right.
that. Okay.
That's
So
right.
I talk too much. Let me shut up now and leave the
No,
floor.
but hey, look, we are ready. We ready to close. So I would love if either one of you could close us out with a closing prayer.
Uh,
Either.
you could me. Oh, I have a. Let me get this. Making me put on my priest cap.
Duality, right? It's duality.
So I know a lot of times we like to do the pose of, but this time I would like us to do this. Put your hands out like this, and either close your eyes or open them out. Keep them open. Divine Never Nature, the creator of all things. Again, we give thanks for the rise of Ra, the energy manifested down onto our melanin skin. For in melanin, we are able to go deep into this depthness of ourselves and understand and overstand, inner and overstand you. I give thanks to Mute and Gab and all those divine principles as we did in the opening of the way. May each and every member here organs and limbs be awaking with the energy of those words we did in the adorations of the opening of the way. May we go forth this new week with that first eye awakening, not third. We are not Greek. That first eye awakening into the world, and may our inner light manifest outside ourselves to other. We say this in the ending words of Dwa. Dwa, Dwa, Dwa.
Dua. But
I hope that was good.
that was
No,
well
I knew it
received.
was good. I knew it
I'm
was
Yes.
saying I do well received. You did that thing.
good.
I'll give it to
Yes.
you since we are, much more to all of you guys for always showing up. Uncle Josh and Ned to all of you. And
And one more thing, real quick. Thank you, Sent, or yay, for I will, I'm not to be trying to be like, I don't know. But thank you for that moment. I am a hymn netter. Do not be scared to grab me by the butt and say, do something. I'm not one of the priests that gonna be like, you can't talk to me. No, you talk to me. If you feel I need to do something more, y'all let me know. Okay? Okay,
We
because when best is that don't be scared to talk. Like, unless you need to be doing this, I'll be like, really? And I'm gonna listen, okay?
doing exactly.
Always gonna have that ear open and then
Yes,
mind. All right.
absolutely.
I wish I pray that all of your hearts are light until we meet again. Much more to all of you guys.
Hi.